Welcome to the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Jeff Hathhorn in for Bob Pompiani and Rich Walsh. A lot of news going on. The NHL released their expansion list, protected list draft for the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and there are some Penguins, obviously. We're going to discuss whether or not they have an opportunity to go, or will it be Marc-Andre Fleury. Plus, free agency comes in just a week and a half. Some Steeler news as minicamp ended, and of course what happened with the Pirates on Friday and their whole bullpen situation. Let's take a look at our panel as we get underway. Colin Dunlap from 93.7 The Fan and the Fan Morning Show. From the Post-Gazette, Jason Mackey. And from DK Sports Radio, Tim Benz. Let's get right at it. There's a number of issues we could discuss, Jason, but basically, how different of a team will this look than the Penguin team we saw just a week ago?
Well, it'll be drastic, Jeff. They're in for a whole lot of change. A lot on the back end. Ron Hainsey, Trevor Daley, they're both going to be gone, I do believe. They're going to bring back Justin Schultz. He's an RFA, but it's a lot of the veteran guys who are up. I don't think they have a lot of interest in bringing them back. They're going to try to bring back Nick Bonino. I think it's going to be very difficult based on what he's going to get on the open market. I don't think it makes a ton of sense for that money at Bonino. They will try. Chris Kunitz is a guy I think who could be back a little bit. I think Matt Cullen is headed toward retirement, but basically all of their UFAs, I think they're going to move on, except for maybe Kunitz.
I do have a question, though, more than an answer, probably for all three of you guys, actually. You know, Jim Rutherford comes out and he says they'd like to get a little tougher. They like to show a little bit more grit, particularly forward-wise. Why is that? They just came off of 2 Stanley Cups. I think that only really one injury in the playoffs, the Sid injury that was the Niskanen hit, came about because maybe there wasn't enough muscle. Why do they need to get tougher, though?
I think the answer, Colin, is that the Senators and then the Predators pushed the envelope of what you could try to get away with against Crosby more so than teams have in the past, at least in these 2 Stanley Cup runs. A lot of teams didn't do that as much against Crosby and Malkin in the previous year and in the first 2 rounds of this series. You know, maybe it was seeing Matt Niskanen decapitate Sidney Crosby and not get suspended for it that tipped it. But that might have been what drove Rutherford to say what he did and then stand by it when asked about it in the season-ending press conference. My thing for Rutherford is when you say you're going to get tougher and you want to get some more grit and tenacity, are they talking about more Tom Cecitos? Because they have one of those. One of those is enough. If they're trying to get a power forward that can score and fight, boy, those guys don't grow on trees.
Right.
And who are the names that we're talking about here?
Well, now, you also need to remember, too, they have to get a guy who can skate. They're not going to get a guy who can just park himself in front of the net. He has to be able to play Mike Sullivan's system.
Do you think this is a play, though, for them to just try to make this whole situation out there? Like, they want the NHL to know that, hey, we're still on top of this. We're going to speak about it. We're probably not going to do anything about it. Or do you think they're actually going to go through with it?
I don't think they're going to go through with it, but what they need to do is make their message pointed toward the league a little bit more. And I thought Jim Rutherford did a good job of that throughout the playoffs, particularly when the commissioner was in town. I thought he did. But it's time for the Penguins. And look, again, there's not a lot to complain about. They just won 2 cups. But it's time for the Penguins to start looking out for the Penguins and not looking out for the league as much. And it's past time for that.
Well, I think one hand washes the other there, though. I think that was part of Rutherford's point, is that if we look out for ourselves, we're looking out for the league, because Sidney Crosby is as much the league as anybody else. And the next guy who was the league after Sid is McDavid. And I don't think it was by accident that Rutherford dropped his name in there in the conversation as well.
All right, Tim, Dumoulin and Matta protected, but Rust and Hagelin and others unprotected. Do you have a problem with the way they sent out that list?
No, it came out exactly the way I thought it would. I thought perhaps they'd protect Cole over one of the other defensemen, but I think he is viewed primarily as a guy who's going to block shots and kill a penalty for you. Maybe doesn't have the offensive skill set that's going to entice Vegas to bring him on board, as opposed to one of the other guys that they might have gotten some more points from. So I'm not stunned at all at the way the protected list came out. It was exactly on script. I do think that they'll take Marc-Andre Fleury. I do think they'll make him their starting goaltender. There's a lot to market there. He knows what it's like to play behind an expansion team. He basically did that here, right? For a season, that team is going to be worse than Vegas is. So there's a lot to like about Fleury going there. The possibility exists that, yes, they could take him, spin him, and trade him somewhere that Jim Rutherford wouldn't have traded him to that might be on Fleury's list, but I think he'll be their goalie to open up the franchise.
I got to say it, and I don't know if Jason will agree or not. You know, lost in all this Marc-Andre Fleury talk with protecting people, not protecting people. To protect Brian Dumoulin, I thought that Brian Dumoulin made himself a lot of money and made himself it kind of raised the pecking order in the NHL a little bit. He's not a top-line defenseman, but he did a lot playing a lot of minutes and giving really good hard minutes in the playoffs. I think he raised his stock greatly in these playoffs.
All right, anyone surprised by James Neal being out there?
No.
Not really.
No, I mean, they were talking about that a lot in Nashville on the national broadcast, the international broadcast, that he was likely a target guy to be left out in Vegas. And James Neal in Vegas might do some damage. And I'm not necessarily talking about scoring goals.
Yager-esque damage.
Yeah, exactly.
In Vegas.
Exactly. That's a part. Not like he's not in a party town as it is for Nashville, but, Vegas without, I guess.
All right, hang on. Let me get a word in here for 1 second. But I want to go back to the point with Marc-Andre Fleury and Brian Rust being out there. If I'm George McPhee, seriously, I think about taking Brian Rust. I know that sounds insane, but Marc-Andre Fleury makes what, $5.75 million? He's going to be your franchise goaltender, can be your franchise goaltender. There are going to be other decently available goaltenders out there. Ultimately, I do agree with Tim, but I think it warrants a big, long second look at Brian Rust, the winger, young kid, easy cap hit, good teammate, scores big goals. I think it's worth at least kicking the tire.
Position aside, is he flat out a better hockey player than Marc-Andre Fleury?
It's apples to oranges.
I don't know, though. Not when you're starting from scratch,
He's not a better player, but I think what Jason's getting at, he's right. Look at the list of unprotected goalies. For as good as Marc-Andre Fleury is, if you go to the next group of goalies after that, there are good ones there to be had if they didn't want to take
How many of them could have won 9 playoff games this year, though?
They're never going to do. Well, not going to do that.
They don't need a guy that can win 9 playoff games. They need a guy who can be competent in the regular season, and then they can use those dollars.
They can play behind a bad defense.
All right, Jason, quickly, $75 million is going to be the cap. Is that enough room for the Pirates to make some moves, or the Pens to make some moves, or at least give them an opportunity to bring a couple of those guys back?
Without a doubt. I think all 3 RFAs, the big-ticket guys, Doolin, Sheary, Schultz, they'll all be back. I think it'll give Jim Rutherford enough flexibility to add a D, a third-line center. Maybe it's Bonino, maybe it's not. Kunitz at a reasonable rate, plenty of room.
Yeah, I think Kunitz is probably the only guy that comes back at a vastly reduced rate. I think Bonino's going to get paid like he's a second-line center. He isn't, especially if you look at his regular season numbers. I think whatever he gets will be too much to come back.
I agree. I think with Kunitz, it's Pittsburgh or nowhere.
The Pirates actually won a few games this week, but it doesn't feel like it because of what happened on Friday. We're going to ask these guys about what happened on Friday and what they do with that bullpen as we continue on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.